Let's start today's tutorial. Today we'll see some problems and solutions based on mesh and node analysis. Okay, theory wise we need to know three rules. One is Ohm's law, then Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law. So using these three laws we will be solving the today's problems. So the first one is here, find the equivalent resistance. Okay, now if you see here, it's an bridge which has been given, and we got to find out the total resistance between A and B. Point A is on the top and bottom. Okay, one way of doing it, you connect one source out here and try to find out what is the total current, and then you can divide the total current by the total voltage by the source. You will get the effective resistance. An easier approach will be, now if you see out here between nodes A, B and C, if you see it's an delta connection. So if I transform this delta connection into a star network, right, then it will become pretty simple. Then it is only merely resistances in series and parallel. Okay, is it okay? What is the approach? Okay, we need to find out the total resistance between point A and B. If you see, there is a delta network between A, B and C. So if I am going to convert this delta into star, this entire network gets simplified. Okay, Aditya, have you understood what I am trying to say? Yeah, okay. Let's try and do that. Now if you see here, this delta network has been converted into a star. So how to go about making it star? If you see, this is R and R. So this comes to be how to make a delta from star, that we discussed in the theory. It will be R into R divided by R plus R plus R, right? So it is R into R divided by R plus R plus R. So that comes out to be R by 3. So since it is symmetrical here, there will be one R by 3 here, one R by 3 here, one R by 3 on top. So this delta has been now been converted into star. So having done that, this entire circuit becomes pretty simple now. So it is just now series resistance of R and R by 3. If you add R to R by 3, you will get 4 R by 3. So here also you will get 4 R by 3. So those two 4 R by 3 in parallel will give you 2 R by 3, and then ultimately that 2 R by 3 will be in series with this R by 3. So the net resistance between A and B will come out to be R. Okay, is it okay with all of you? Satvik, you just joined. Are you in tune now? Okay, so let's move forward. So this is the second question. Again we need here also the question is to find out the effective resistance between point A and point B, right? So you will see, so if you see in this network, there are several star and several delta connections. So this can be considered as a delta, this 12, 5 and 10. Similarly, this can be considered as a delta, or this 12, 5 and 15 can be considered as a star. So this 10, 5 and 20 also can be considered as a star. So we can do one of the conversions and see that the circuit gets simplified. So I will demonstrate you just one option. Rest of the things you can try it out yourself. So let's try and convert this 5, 10 and 20 into delta connection. Okay, so where will be the one arm of the delta between? It will be between A and C. So that will get in parallel with 12.5. The next arm will be between A and B. That will get again parallel with this 15 ohms, and the third arm will be A and B. that will get in parallel with this 30 ohm. So you see, then this entire thing becomes pretty simplified, right? So we are going to convert this 5, 10 and 20 star into a delta connection. So when you see a circuit, and this is the way the star might appear. It could appear like this, or it could be inverted, or it could be just be an T also. So when you see the circuit, you should be able to say, okay, there is a star topology available there. Okay, so just by visualizing these kind of connections, you should be able to say, okay, this is a star connected network. Okay, now if you see this, what is shown in the black box, these are the 3 resistances which are connected in star, which we are going to now connect into delta. Now this is between, what is the resistance value that needs to be put between A and C. Okay, since you have 5 here, you have a 10 here, so when I am converting it into delta connection, so it will be 5 plus 10 plus 5 into 10 by 20. This 20 comes from the arm which is opposite resistance, okay, to these 2 arms. So 20. So this comes to be 17.5. Okay, is it understood? Where did this 17.5 come? Anyone? Ayush? Is it clear to you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. So now if you see that 17.5 actually comes in parallel to 12.5. Okay, that comes in parallel to 12.5. Similarly, you have 5 and 20. So if I am going to compute this delta connection value between C and B, it will be 5 plus 20 divided by 5 into 20 by 10. Okay, 5 plus 20, then 5 into 20 divided by 10. 10 is the third resistance, which is in the opposite arm of the star connection. So that 10 has come from there. So it comes to be 35. That 35 comes in parallel to this 15. Okay. Similarly, the third one will be a 10 plus 20 plus 10 into 20 divided by 5. So 70 ohms. That 70 comes in parallel with the 30 ohm here. So now if you see this circuit gets pretty simplified. Now this is just 2 series resistance and 1 parallel resistance. So you can apply that parallel combination formulas. You can get the net effective resistance, and then divide the total voltage, which here it is given as 120. If we divide it with the net resistance what we got, you will get the current which is being drawn from the source. Okay, so this is another kind of simplification wherein we have converted a star connection into a delta connection to simplify the overall circuit. Okay, this is one such example. So seeing the circuit, you should be able to identify which are the star connections, and then accordingly make a conversion to simplify. Okay, okay. The next one is a problem where we need to find I1 and I2, and we are going to use a simple KVL for that. Okay, so there are 2 mesh here. This is one mesh and this is the second mesh. So if you see the I1 is given, both are given in the clockwise direction obviously. So the current, it is assumed here in the beginning that the current is going into the source out here, whereas here it is coming out of the source. So we need to be careful with the polarity when we write the equations. Okay, so that mistake, we have to be careful with the polarity signs, otherwise we are going to get wrong answers. Okay, so for the first mesh, we are going to write 10, this is the terminal voltage available, into I into 20, that is the voltage across 20 ohms. And if you see the voltage across this 10 ohms, I1 is flowing from top to bottom, and since I2 we have taken in the clockwise direction, for this particular resistance, for the 10 ohm resistance, the current is going to flow from bottom to top. So the net current out here will be I1 minus I2 into 10. So just expanding these and taking the I1 terms together, so you get one equation, 10V plus 10I2 is equal to 30I. So you get one equation. So similarly, writing the mesh equation for the second mesh. Now if you are writing KVL for the second mesh, so if you see the current, since the current is going into the source from the positive terminal, we have taken that voltage to be negative, so minus 5 volts. So this is where we need to be careful. And then through this resistance, now we are talking about the current in this direction. which we have taken as positive. So it becomes I1 minus I2, I2 minus I1, because the current I1 is going to oppose I2 here in this case. So I2 minus I1 into 10, and through 50 ohms only I2 is flowing. So you get a second equation. So now this is one equation, this is the second equation. So we need to just solve these two simultaneous equations, and then you will get the values of I2 and I1. Okay, is it understood, or anybody has got any doubts so far? No? Okay, so let's move ahead. Okay, now this is a problem where we have to use a super mesh. Okay, that we understand the constraints of a simple mesh, that when we make a mesh, there cannot be any current source, either independent or a dependent current source in the mesh which we are considering for KVL. Because we cannot simply write the values, voltages across those current sources cannot be written in a simple equation visually when we see like this. So that is the reason. But that doesn't mean there won't be any voltage across this current source. Okay, there will be some voltage across this current source. If you, when we finally solve, okay, there will be some voltage across this 10 ohms and some voltage across 50 ohms, and then the remaining will have to be across this. Okay, but to write the mesh equations to start with, so we can't use this loop. So we are going to use the super mesh. Super mesh is forming a mesh excluding that current source. Okay, so from 20 we take 10, 80, 30 and come back to the ground. Okay, now if you see here, so if you write 20, okay, minus 10i, now because we are putting everything, we are just putting 0 here, we are doing an algebraic sum here. So 20 minus 10i minus 80 I2, because I2 is flowing out here, and then here it is 30 I2. All right, so you get one equation out here. So just simplifying that, you get 20 into I2 plus this is the equation which we have. And now the another equation, the second equation, we require two equations. Second equation is to try and relate this current source. Okay, now here in this case the current source is going to be 5 is going to the top, and you find I2 is going top and I2 is coming from top to bottom. So 5 plus I1 minus I2 is equal to 0. So you get a second equation. So solving these two equations, we can find the values of I1 and I2. Okay, this is known as super mesh. Okay, so super mesh is nothing but when we are writing a KVL equation, if there is a current source in any of the branches, dependent or independent, we cannot use that mesh. So we need to bypass that and take a bigger mesh. Okay, and then try to equate that the currents in the adjoining small meshes with the current which is given in the problem, so that we get the second equation, and then we solve that. So this is the this is something known as super mesh. So we need to do that for such kind of problems. Okay, here this is again the next problem is a simple nodal analysis, where see, instead of voltages, currents have been given here. So it is better we do node analysis to get the answer. Okay, so the values are given, R1, R2, R3, I1 and I2, these values are given. So we need to find out what is the voltage across N1 and N2, and which is the current which is going to flow into R3. So the first and foremost thing is we have to assign a ground, reference ground. So we are going to assign N2 as a ground here, that we have done then. And then one equation is a pretty straightforward. I2 plus I1 is I3, so that you can write straight away. And then since this voltage is known out here, this we don't know this voltage, so we are going to find that voltage by simply, now if you see I1 plus I2, the values of I1 and I2 is given. So the voltage out here will be merely it is simple, I3 into R3. R3 is also given here, and I3 is if you add up these two, it will be 3 amperes. So 3 amperes into 30 ohms resistance, so you will get 90 volt. Okay, so this is a very simple, it is just to illustrate how a node analysis is done. Okay, so slightly more complex example is given here for node analysis. Okay, so here we go on to this is a problem statement where you have a 10 amperes current and a 20 amperes current sources, and there are 3 sets of resistors given here. Again, the first step would be to put an notional ground here. So we are giving ground to N3. We are assuming a ground has been connected here. So now we write an equation at node 1. Okay, so if you see a 10 amperes current is going to come into the node, right, and then the current which is has to go out from the node. Okay, this is 10 amperes, the current which is going to come into the node here. Okay, what is coming into the node, we are writing positive, so 10 amperes plus the current which is going to come into the node. V2 indicates the voltage at the node 2, so V2 minus V1 divided by R2, which is 20 ohms, which is given, and this is the current again which is going out of the node. So that is why we have written a minus out here, V1 by 10 is equal to 0. So we are basically writing the algebraic sum of all the currents which is coming into N1 to be 0. Is it okay with all of you? Anybody has got any doubt? Devesh, is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 10 amperes plus V2 minus Y1 by R2. R2 is 10, and then V1, this is minus because the current is flowing out. So this we have written equation. So you get one equation. Similarly, writing the node the current equation at this node 2 and equating it to 0. So all the currents which are coming into the node 2, you see this is 20 ampere which is coming into this thing, and 10 ampere is going out of this node. So I have put negative out here. So this is 20 is positive, 10 is negative, right? And what is this current now? This is going out again. So V2 minus V1 by 20, since this current is going out of, it is negative. And the third current and the fourth current, this is also going out of the node. So minus V2 by 30. So you get two equations. Now if you solve these two simultaneous equations, we will get the value of V1 and V2. Okay, so these are all straightforward questions. Most likely similar questions you are likely to get in your quiz, which will be held maybe first week of October. I'll let you know the dates. Okay. Basic, if you understand the basic concepts, and it will be even if you do the tutorial problems nicely, that will be adequate to attempt a quiz. Okay, so you don't have to do lot of practice with even if you do the problems which have been explained in the class and the tutorials, I guess that should be sufficient. Okay, if you want to do more practice, even if you do solved examples from some of the standard textbooks, that would be good enough. Okay. Okay, now the last problem which we would take is super node. Okay, I explained you what is a super node in the class. Wherever we write nodal equations, if there is an voltage source, either independent or dependent, which is connected to a node, so you cannot straight away write the current. So we cannot assign a current initially what is going to flow in this battery, right? Because this internal resistance is 0, and then this terminal voltage is 36. So I can't write 36 divided by 0 equal to infinity current which is coming into this node. Okay, so that is the reason we use super node analysis, right? If you see here, this is 36 volt, and if I assume internal resistance is 0 here, it's an ideal source, then I can't write the current which will flow here will 36 by 0. Okay, I can't do that. So that is the reason we use the method of super mesh. Okay, super mesh is nothing but we just assume this branch is not there, and whatever current, suppose it is coming, two currents are coming from the bottom and from the left into this node. Okay, that is ultimately has to come out of these two nodes, right? So we assume this 36 volt is not there, so we write algebraic sum of the currents which is coming here and here, we equate that to 0. It means the same, because whatever current is coming into this 36 volt has to come out here. So it is the same thing, equating the algebraic sum at this node and this node together. Okay, that is known as super node. Okay, that we can only do if we have an ideal if we have an voltage source connected in between these two nodes in such cases. Okay, so this is a super node. So if we write one equation is simple, V1 minus V2 is equal to 36. Okay, because this is given, we are assigning two different voltages for these two nodes. So we are writing V1 minus V2. We are writing V1 minus V2 because the polarity here is given positive towards the V1 side, 36 volt. Okay, so again everywhere we need to be careful with our polarity aspect. So this is one equation, and then we write a super mesh. Okay, super mesh is from this 12 volt through this 4 ohms. Okay, no, super node, sorry. So we are assuming the current which is coming here is going to come out from this nodes. Okay, so we have V1, okay, minus 12 it should be, actually if the generally, but the polarity, if you see here, it is the negative portion is connected here, so it will become V1 minus 12, so it has become V1 plus 12 by 4. Okay, so that is the current which is coming out of the node. Okay, here we are taking the current which is coming out of the node to be positive here in this case. Again V1 by 6. See, you can take either which is coming in as positive or going out to be positive, but at any given time you have to follow only one convention. You cannot have different rules for different branches. Okay, and now in this particular example we are taking current which is going out to be positive, so we follow that for all the branch currents. Okay, so V1 plus 12 by 4, V1 by 6. Okay, that is the second current. Third current also going out. So since it's a super node, we are going to take this. So V2 minus 24 by 3. Okay, this is also current which is going out. So V2 minus by 3, and here it is V2 divided by 12. So these are all the currents which are going out of the super node. Super node is a combination of V1 and V2. So this we get second equation. So essentially we have now two equations, which is and there are two variables V1 and V2. So we can solve that to get the value of V1 and V2. Is it okay? Is there any doubts in these questions? No? Okay. So thanks a lot. That brings an end to this tutorial.